Hello everyone, my name is Emily, and here is the story of how my husband Nathan thought he could outmaneuver me in a game of trust and deception. It started with murmurs in the shadows, illicit bank transactions, and the name Clara Vaughn, which I had never heard before. Nathan wasn't just going to leave our marriage. He was planning to take away all I had worked for, including my funds, career, and peace of mind. He expected me to fall under the pressure, but he underestimated me. I did not simply stand my ground. I struck first, protecting what was mine, and within weeks, his carefully prepared plans crumbled. The treachery was not the worst part. It was the months of falsehoods, the deliberate deception, and the lengths he went to destroy me. It all began on a gloomy Seattle morning in our high-rise apartment overlooking Puget Sound. I awoke to an empty bed, the covers next me cold, indicating Nathan had been awake for a while. I assumed he was at his home office preparing for a pitch for his software business, but as I massaged my eyes, I noticed his voice wafting from the corridor in a low, hushed tone. The house was dark, except for a faint glimmer from streetlights that filtered through the blinds. My gut churned as I moved closer. She had no suspicions after only a few weeks. Nathan stated with a calm tone, as if he were soothing someone on the other end. My breath caught. Who was he speaking to? I froze, trying to hear more, but his voice had lowered to a whisper. My hands curled into fists as the words became muted. This was not a work call. Nathan has never spoken so cautiously about his venture capital ventures. My thoughts raced with possibilities and affairs. A swindle, or worse. His footsteps came, and I crept back into bed, pretending to sleep while my heart pounded. The mattress sank as he lay in alongside me. I kept my breathing steady, but my mind was screaming. A few minutes later, he exhaled, comfortable as if nothing had happened. I turned over, pretending to yawn. "Where were you?" I inquired, keeping my tone mild. "Bathroom," he said without missing a beat. I pressed a lie in the phone call while observing his face. Just a customer needed to finalize some elements for a pitch. His eyes met me, calm and unreadable. Maybe I overreacted, but those words, "she doesn't suspect a thing," stuck with me. I gulped hard and lay over, murmuring to myself, "Not yet. No, Emily, not yet." The next morning, I was awake before Nathan. He was sprawled out on the bed, one arm flung over my pillow. I picked up my phone and tiptoed into the kitchen, the Seattle skyline gloomy and misty outside. I rarely examined our financial accounts. Nathan handled the finances, and I trusted him to keep things fair, but something didn't feel right. When I logged into our joint account, my stomach dropped $600, $500, and $900, totaling $2,500. Over the last 4 months, there has been a string of tiny but frequent withdrawals totaling more than $15,000. We split expenditures, including rent, utilities, and weekend trips to the San Juans. However, we were not discussing bills or investments. They came from Nathan's personal account and were transferred to our joint account under the guise of consultation fees. My hands shook as I held my phone. Then I saw something else. A recurring payment for CV consulting. The initials struck me like a punch. Clara Vaughn. My pulse quickened. Was this who he'd been whispering to? Steps reverberated behind me. I locked the screen just as Nathan yawned at the counter in the morning. He said, pouring coffee from our expensive espresso machine, "You're awake early." I forced a smile. Couldn't sleep. I checked our bank account. His hand paused mid-pour for a brief moment before he giggled. "Oh, yes. Everything is fine." I crossed my arms. "There are a lot of withdrawals I don't identify. Thousands." Nathan makes money to a company called CV Consultancy. His eyes twitched, but he recovered quickly. "Just a few side investments. This is technical stuff. Short-term gains. There's nothing to worry about." His easygoing tone did not reflect the tightness in his jaw. "CV consultation." I pressed. He shrugged and sipped his coffee. "A contractor for startup paperwork." I knew he was lying, but I didn't argue. Not yet. I needed more than just a hunch. Nathan was riveted to his phone that day, frequently walking onto the balcony to take calls. When he set his screen on the table, it was always facing down. Every look at him was like staring at a stranger. I remembered how he'd changed throughout the previous year. Longer hours and dubious justifications for networking events. He set a new password on his phone. That night, I lay awake and stared at the ceiling. Nathan was charming. A tech guy who could confidently pitch a startup to a room full of venture capitalists. But I recognized his brief smirks and the way he avoided my gaze when he was hiding something. Something was wrong, and I wasn't about to overlook it. By daybreak, the doubt had turned into resolve. Nathan's voice from the night before echoed in my thoughts, calculated and disdainful. I went about my routine, but my mind was elsewhere, piecing together the red flags I'd ignored, including his late nights at work and the way he'd started locking his phone. His sudden interest in organizing our finances. Then he entered the kitchen, all happy, wearing his favorite Patagonia fleece. "Hey, darling. I was thinking we could organize our finances. For taxes or anything. Do you have a list of your accounts and passwords?" I froze my coffee mug halfway up my lips. Despite the alarm bells in my thoughts, I continued to echo my voice. "Yeah," he replied, leaning against the counter and sipping his coffee. Like this wasn't a big issue. We should keep everything in one place. Nathan had never been concerned about my own savings, just in case my heart was racing. My freelance graphic design revenue was deposited into my own account, distinct from our joint one for shared expenses. When we moved in together 5 years ago, we decided on a specific system. I used a neutral tone. "I will think about it." His smile faltered, but he nodded and shifted the conversation, telling a story about a new investment. But I was not listening. This was not about taxes. Nathan had a strategy that he didn't want me to know about. That evening, Nathan seemed weirdly calm, cracking jokes about his co-founder's terrible taste in craft beer and ordering pizza from our favorite Capitol Hill restaurant. He was playing the perfect husband, which made my skin crawl. His ease seemed forced, as if he were rehearsing for a role. Then he committed his first error. He left his phone on the coffee table while showering, which was unusual. My heart pounded as I stared at it, face down like we all are. Then a notice appeared on the screen, a text from Clara Vaughn. I hesitated, my fingers trembling, before tilting the phone slightly to read the preview. "Keep her in the dark. We are so near. Confirm the transfer tomorrow." My chest squeezed, and the room closed in. Who was Clara Vaughn? What transfer? My mind imagined an affair. A scam. A scheme to deplete our accounts. I heard the shower stop. Panic rushed as I returned the phone to its original position and sunk into the couch, squeezing my hands to keep them from shaking. Nathan walked back with a towel around his neck, whistling a melody. He asked about pizza toppings, taking his phone without looking. "You chose," I muttered, my mind racing with Clara Vaughn and the withdrawals. The late-night call. The parts were falling into place, creating a bleak picture. I could have challenged him then, but if Nathan was hiding something so significant, I wanted proof, concrete proof. So I played along. Let him kiss me goodnight. Allow him to think I was naive. I laid in bed, whispering into the darkness, "Who the hell is Clara Vaughn?" The name tormented me all night, like a problem I couldn't solve in the morning. I was determined to get answers. Nathan sat at the breakfast bar, looking through his phone, oblivious to my presence. He then looked up all charm. "Hello, could you sign something quickly? Just a few account adjustments for tax season." My stomach lurched. "What do I sign?" He handed a folder across the counter, his voice nonchalant, his fingers tapping nervously. I'd noticed when he told half-truths to investors. I opened it and skimmed the dense legal material. My heart fell. It was not about taxes. It was a transfer agreement. My savings, my freelance income, and our Subaru Outback was incorporated into his name. A phrase buried in the tiny print granted him power of attorney over my accounts. I looked up, and his gaze fixed on me. "Nathan, you have a perfected smile in place. What's this?" His smile did not waver. "Just a precaution, baby. Simplifies things. Nothing changed for us." My hands trembled with wrath. "Nothing changed. You are asking me to sign over everything." "Not everything," he said, as if to soften it for safety. This was not a precaution in case something happened. It was a power grab, a move toward eliminating me. I laid the folder down and met his gaze. I am not signing this. His smile twitched, and his jaw tightened. Do not overreact. It's only paperwork. So, why are you pressuring me to sign without explaining it? His eyes hardened. You're making things tougher than they need to be. I leaned in unflinching. Is this a threat? He didn't respond. Just leaned back. Arms crossed, his charm had been replaced by a chilly calm. I just think you're overcomplicating things, he remarked quietly. I held his stare as the silence stretched. He was waiting for me to crack before giving in. I would not. Instead, I smiled just enough to make him uncomfortable. You're correct, Nathan. I'll consider it over. His eyes narrowed. He had not expected me to stand there, place the folder on the counter, and walk away. The game had changed, and I had taken charge. That afternoon, I called my best friend Mia, a financial expert who had helped me start my freelance business. I need you to look into anything I said and email her screenshots of the bank transactions and transfer agreement. Her response was quick. Emily, this is horrible. These withdrawals are designed to circumvent IRS flags. In this arrangement, it is a trap. He is attempting to keep you from having access to your own money. My blood became chilly. What do I do? Transfer your assets now. Establish a trust. I know a lawyer who can help. By the evening, I'd met with Mia's contact, a bright attorney called Lauren, who prepared a trust to preserve my funds and freelance earnings. He won't see it coming, Lauren whispered, her eyes blazing, but you must act quickly. That night, Nathan acted as if nothing had happened, speaking about a new coffee shop in Fremont and browsing Netflix. But I saw through the act. This was not about repairing our marriage. He was preparing his getaway, and he intended to leave with everything. The next morning, I found him in the living room, holding a coffee and looking smug. I sat across from him, and he detected the change. We need to talk, he said, setting his drink down, and I raised an eyebrow. Go on. He sighed like this, which bothered him. I believe we should separate. It isn't working, Em. You felt it, too. I stared at him, unmoving. He was not asking. He was declaring. You've been planning this, I explained, my voice steady. A flicker of unease crossed his features. It is for the best. We are not the same people anymore. I leaned forwards. You say you want to leave, but you want to take everything with you. His lips thinned, but he didn't hide it. I could have reacted angrily, but I remained calm. I relocated my assets, Nathan, I murmured, watching his reaction as his posture straightened and his eyes narrowed. What exactly? What I said. My money is safe. His jaw tensed, and I saw panic. He had spent months plotting, hoping to outwit me, but I had beaten him to it. He stood, holding his coffee, his voice quiet. You're going to regret this. Emily, I did not flinch. We'll see the next day. The air felt thicker when a courier knocked on my door. Emily Harper, I nodded, and he gave me an envelope. You have been served. My stomach dropped as I tore it open. File a divorce petition. Nathan wasn't simply leaving. He demanded half of our apartment lease, the car, and my freelance earnings, and because he was requesting spousal support, a handwritten note slipped out in Nathan's penmanship. You should have signed him. My blood boiled. This was not merely a divorce, it was a declaration of war. I met Lauren in her stylish downtown office, with the Space Needle visible through the window. She smirked as she skimmed the pages. He has nothing, she said. You transferred everything to a trust before he filed. He is unable to touch it. Spousal support based on your income against his. Not a drop of relief flooded over me, yet the note lingered in my head. He won't stop, I murmured, and Lauren nodded. Then we remain one step ahead. That evening, as I was sipping wine, the door swung open. Nathan stood there, his eyes burning and smelling faintly of bourbon. Do you think you are clever? He spit. I laid my glass down unfazed. I suppose I'm done letting you toy with me. His fists clenched. This was something you planned. I tilted my head, but you did not. He moved closer. Keep your voice low. This is not over. Emily, I returned his stare. It will cause problems at work for the next week. Whispers followed me inside the co-working facility where I worked on my freelancing projects. My colleague Jake approached me after a customer meeting. There are rumors that you have been siphoning money from your joint accounts. Some believe it is fraud. I glanced at him, shocked. Nathan has been emailing folks. Jake mentioned clients, other designers, and even our co-working space manager. He's saying you're being investigated. Fury raged. He didn't simply want my money. He was trying to destroy my job, reputation, and livelihood. I stormed into Lauren's office and slammed a packet of screenshots onto her desk emails. Nathan had posted on local freelancer forums and even sent a phony tip to a tech blog suggesting I was avoiding taxes. He is slandering me. This is the end of it. Lauren chuckled as she scanned the evidence. He is desperate. This is slander territory. We issue a cease and desist. We will sue if he continues this behavior. I nodded, but internally I was fuming. I did not desire a drawn-out fight. I wanted him gone. Mia, who had gone through a messy divorce, joined in over coffee later. Do not let him bait you, Em. He wants you to lose it. I took a breath. She was correct. I would fight smartly. Then came the curveball. I was attending a networking event for Seattle creatives when a possible customer, a startup founder, approached me. I received an anonymous email. She said, frowning. It contained records proving that you had been funneling client cash into offshore accounts. Is this true? My heart has stopped. Absolutely not. I said, trying to remain cool. Can you pass that email to me? She did. There included a PDF with my logo, bogus invoices, and bank information. I'd never seen the sender of a burner email, but the wording said Nathan. He wasn't simply circulating rumors. He was forging evidence. I forwarded it to Lauren, who called immediately. This is an escalation, she remarked. We are adding fraud to the defamation claim. This is criminal territory. That night, I found Nathan in a hip Belltown pub, laughing with his tech bro friends. As if he hadn't already tried to ruin me. I didn't create a scene. I stepped up, leaned in, and whispered, "You're finished, Nathan." His grin faltered, but he recovered to raise his glass. It's game on." I turned and left, my determination hardened. No more games. Several weeks later, my phone rang. "Emily, there's a serious problem." Lauren stated that Nathan and Clara Vaughn filed a complaint accusing you of financial fraud and falsification of employment records. My heart fell. This could result in criminal charges. "They have documents," she added. "They are fakes, but they are good ones. Clara is the name behind it all." I asked whether there were any holes. Lauren hesitated. Mia discovered something. Timestamps on the transfers. The accounts did not exist at the time, and one of the banks mentioned is a shell business related to Clara Vaughn. I exhaled. It was their error. In Lauren's office, I outlined my strategy. I'm not only defending myself. I want them buried. She nodded and pulled out a file. Our forensic expert confirmed that the documents are false. We can prove it. We filed a motion to dismiss their claim and countersuit for defamation, fraud, and manipulating evidence. I leaned forwards. I want all of the damages. Lauren grinned. Let's do it. The night before the hearing, I received an SMS from an unknown number. Back off, or you will lose more than money. My palms shook as I forwarded it to Lauren for harassment. She mentioned that we would also include this. The next day, I confronted Nathan in court. Lauren was tireless in presenting the fake documents, the analyst's evidence, and dissecting every falsehood. She exposed Clara Vaughn as a disgraced accountant with a history of financial schemes, linked to Nathan through shell companies. Nathan's teammates squirmed. Then Lauren dropped the bombshell. My client is countersuing Mr. Harper and Clara Vaughn for defamation, fraud, and providing false evidence, Your Honor. Nathan's cheeks turned pale. His lawyer stood there, his voice shaking. My client withdraws his claim. The judge nodded. Motion is dismissed. Mr. Harper will pay all legal fees. Outside, Nathan walked by me, grumbling. This is not over. I called after him. This is for you. Peace settled over me. No more threats. No more sleepless nights. I had won quietly, rather than with fanfare. Lauren delivered the full payment to me some days later. Nathan received nothing. His falsehoods had cost him everything. Following the debacle, his startup's investors pulled out. Clara has her own legal difficulties. How are you feeling? Lauren asked. I smiled freely. That evening, Mia and my mother hosted a celebratory meal at a quiet restaurant in Ballard. Mia raised a drink to Emily, who would never let a guy fool her. I laughed and clinked my glasses. Later, on my balcony overlooking Puget Sound, I felt different, stronger, and wiser. I had lost trust but regained myself. My phone buzzed with an unknown number. I immediately blocked it. Opening my laptop, I began a new project. A fresh chapter. My chapter. Here's the key takeaway: life tests us when we least expect it. Betrayal hurts, but strength comes from rising beyond it. I might have let Nathan break me, but instead I fought for my future, dignity, and freedom. If you have been caught off guard, remember that you are not alone. You are stronger than you realize, and walking away from what is hurting you is the ultimate victory. Please share your stories below. Have you ever had to battle for yourself against the odds? Leave a comment. Please let me know where you are watching from. And if this resonated with you, please subscribe. Stay strong, clever, and never let anyone take your power.